Good evening and welcome to the May 25th, 2023 meeting of the Yorktown Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Gordon Fine. I chair the board. Joining me tonight on the board are Bill Gregory and John Meistrick, our recording secretary Glenda Daly, our legal assistant Nazreen Cooley, and our special counsel Adam Rodriguez. First thing we need to do is set up next month's meeting. Next month's meeting is going to be held on June 22nd here in the boardroom at 6:30. To send out mailings, you must send the mailings out between May 30th and June 7th. Keep in mind, if you send the mailings out before May 30th or after June 7th, your hearing will not be open next month. To determine who to send the mailings to, you go to the tax office here in Town Hall, tell them you're sending out zoning board mailings, give them your address. They will then show you the names and addresses of those parties you need to send notices to. You write those names and addresses down on the sheet that's provided to you along with the zoning board application, and you send those mailings out. First-class mail with certificate of mailing. Does not have to be certified, just certificate of mailing. You then also have to post the sign on your property conspicuously and bring in a copy of the picture of the sign on the property along with the sign affidavit. Submit your mailings, proof of mailings, and your sign affidavit back to our legal office before the next hearing date. If we're going to do a site visit on your property, that's being done on Saturday, June 17th. We start at around 9 a.m. here in the southern end of town and work our way north. Next thing to do is review last month's minutes. Everybody received a copy?
Mm-hmm.
Any comments or questions? Then I move that we approve the minutes of the April hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
As you notice tonight, there's only 3 out of the 5 of us here on the board tonight, which means that any vote we take has to be unanimous. Otherwise, it's an automatic denial. So just keep that in mind if you're hearing your application tonight. Okay, moving on to new business. We have Newman, application for renewal of a special use permit for accessory apartment at 388 London Road. We'll refer that to the building department and handle that administratively, and public hearing on the 22nd. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Henson, application for a 2-story addition that will require variances for a rear yard setback of 12.81 square feet, where 30 is required, and is on a non-conforming lot of 8864 square feet, where 20,000 square feet is required, at 2781 Hyatt Street. We will refer that to the building department, have a site visit on the 17th, and public hearing on the 22nd. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alexandre, application to allow a chicken coop in a front yard. Yard was determined by a previous variance in 1993, it appears. That will require a variance of 30 square feet where 40 square feet is required, and lot size of 20,226 square feet where 40,000 is required at 2107 Lavoie Court. We'll refer that to the building department, site visit on the 17th, public hearing on the 22nd. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the adjourned agenda, we have Carvalho. That's being adjourned by the applicant. I would ask our legal department to notify the applicant that, or applicant's attorney, that when they want this back on the calendar, since it's been on a few times, they will need to renotice for whatever meeting they want to put this back on for. Next one is Grace. That's also being adjourned by the applicant. Same thing, when they want to put it back on the calendar, we'll keep it running on the calendar, but they want to actually have the hearing on it, they'll need to renotice. Elijah is also being adjourned. There's 2 applications on that one. That's also being adjourned by the applicant. And now we have O'Donnell. That's also being adjourned by the applicant. And Guzman is being adjourned because the mailings are not in order. Moving on to the public hearings. Anyone here on Persichetti? Want to come on up? Application for renewal of a special use permit for an accessory apartment at 1344 Ed Chris Road. Good evening.
Hello,
Could you state your name for the record, please?
Joanne Persichetti,
Okay, this is a renewal, correct?
correct.
We have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd. They have no objections, found no violations. The mailings are in order. Anyone in the audience have a comment on the application? Anybody on the board? Anything you'd like to add?
No,
Okay,
I just have a receipt that I purchased a smoke
that's fine. Just
detector.
showed it to the building department.
That's for me.
Gentleman right behind you.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Fred is here too from the building department. So I therefore move that we grant the application for renewal of a special use permit for accessory apartment at 1344 Edchrist Road for a period of 3 years. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Next is Falcone.
Good evening, everyone.
Let me just read this into the record.
Yep.
This is an application to reconstruct an existing multifamily dwelling that has been approved by a variance dated July 29th, 1976, for 3 dwelling units, where the applicant is requesting 4 dwelling units. This application will require a front yard variance of 22 feet where 40 is required, and is at 1450 East Main Street. Good evening.
How are you?
Good. State your name, please.
Rich Falcone.
Okay. So, run us through this briefly, what you're looking to do.
I think everyone knows what the house looks like.
We've been there.
Yes.
There's a
I've been
picture right
inside.
there.
There you go. I've been inside. After looking at it, to repair that, it's not repairable. What I would like to do, it would be an extensive remodel to the structure that's there. After looking at it, the floors inside, they're all different levels, and to make it more conducive to today's living, and plus the condos across the street, townhouses are, I think it would look better if we tried to mimic and make that whole area nice with this house, so it doesn't look like that. I have a plan, you have the
Yes.
plant drawings. The 2 ground floor apartments, there would be 2 bedrooms each. I designed it in a way so they would have a lot more lighting and windows in there. So seniors, or I was even thinking handicapped people, would be able to access those apartments because they're ground level. And then the 2 apartments upstairs, with the way I designed it, it would be more suitable for people to live in it. I'm not looking for quick apartments. I'm looking for people that want to move there and live there. So I'm looking to really make a nice layout, and the overall design of the house, I would like it to be appealing from the street. And then also from going to 4 2-bedrooms, according to the code, you're only allowed 2 people per bedroom, according to the square footage. With going with 4 apartments with 2 bedrooms, there would be allowed the maximum 16 people in that house. By going with the 3 bedrooms, 3 apartments, 3 bedrooms each, you're looking at 18. So I'm actually cutting the occupancy load down from the 18 to the 16. Plus the health department, they're reviewing everything now, but a preliminary conversation I had with them, they said by going to the 4 2-bedrooms, it would be less impactful on the septic system. And the septic system that's there is meant for 9 bedrooms.
Okay, so we have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd. This is an application to reconstruct an existing multifamily structure that has been approved by a variance dated July 29th, 1976 for 3 dwelling units, where that applicant is requesting 4 dwelling units. This application will require front yard variances of 22 feet, where 40 feet is required. I inspected the property, I have no objections to granting relief. Applicant will require a building permit and a C of O. Okay.
I have something else that's in the town code, and I don't know, I think it would pertain to this, I'm not sure. It's 368, it's because of, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous talking in front of people.
Okay.
I'm not used to talking in front of people.
Not people, it's just us.
I know. Well, everybody else is here. The dwelling for the hotels. In the town zoning code, there is something in there. I don't know if that pertains to this or not.
Well, there are a couple of issues we were concerned with at first.
Okay.
Number one is, what you're stating is the building's basically a tear down.
Yes and no. A level 3 alteration is what it is.
The question we had originally was, the property was not originally zoned for 3-family use.
Yes,
In 1976, the zoning board granted a variance to the owner then.
yes.
For 3 dwelling units. And that's the way it was supposed to be going forward. Now, going forward, that's changed around by various owners.
Right.
Not exactly legally, but that's the way it went.
Yep.
But it was a variance for 3 dwelling units. Our concern was, if you take down the structure, do you lose that variance? Because it was a variance for 3 dwelling
Well, I'm
units.
not taking down the structure. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So we consulted with our attorney. And if you want to give us a brief rundown on what you believe the law to be on that.
Sure. So, as you said, in 76, the zoning board granted a variance, and generally the law is that use variances and area variances, but this is a use variance, they run with the land, and effectively what you have is a rezoning for the specific parcel of land at issue. So, in my opinion, the variance to allow the three-family development would continue.
So basically, if it was a complete tear down, you'd still have the usage for the
Right.
3. The main question is, though, can you then make it a 4? So by asking for a 4th, now you're another use variance. And as you know, the criteria for a use variance is quite different than an area variance. The use variance, you pretty much have to prove that there's no other economic usage for the property other than what you're asking to do. And it's pretty much been shown, at least in my opinion, that there was a use variance applied in the past to increase from the 3, and that was denied. I don't know how you'd meet the criteria to get that 4th on a use variance, to be honest with you. You could try. but
So
I don't
what,
see how you
is
could
it
get
the square footage of the lot is the issue,
No, it's the usage. It's making it a 4 instead of a 3.
but in here, you can make it a hotel, or there's other avenues that you can make it, which I don't think it would suit
But it's
that
not what you're
area.
asking for.
I know, but I don't think it would be suitable for that area. I mean, you have the strip mall there, I think housing would be a lot better than
I mean, the
it's a little,
cleanest way to do it, so to speak, would be a rezoning, which we can't do. The
No,
town board
right.
has to do that. But what you're asking for basically is a use variance for the 4th. What we're getting past is the first hurdle.
Right.
Is can you rebuild the 3?
Right.
And what we're hearing is, yes, you can.
right,
What we would do tonight on that basis is not grant it at this point, because we were
Okay.
just a starting point.
I understand,
We'd still have to refer it back to the planning board and engineering.
right,
For site plan, et cetera. What we didn't want to do was have you go there first and expend time and money
I got
doing
you.
that, then coming here and having
Makes
us say
sense.
no.
yep, makes sense,
So we did it the other way around, so at
Right.
least you got a running start at
right,
it. So you know you'll get past that hurdle with
Right.
us. But as far as a 4th, I don't know if you're gonna be able to make the use variance out of it.
okay, but,
You're free to give it a shot, but
so what would be the process the process would be go in front of planning?
well, you gotta go in front of planning and present to them what you wanna do.
Right, okay,
Keep in mind that you should be able to get the 3 dwelling
Yeah,
units from here.
right.
Getting the 4th may be an issue.
Let me ask you a question. I thought to have, to do the 3-family, it's an automatic, like, not automatic, I said the
I
wrong
understand
word.
that, but that was our
That-
question, whether it was or
Right, I
not.
could submit drawings, I should be able to, as long as building department approval on drawings.
Right, the
that
main
I-
question we had was, can you do that if you're tearing down most of the
Right,
structure?
right.
And we've gotten past that hurdle.
Okay,
Now the hurdle is the 4th unit,
right,
which, that's a use variance.
okay,
And you'd have to present evidence, basically to prove the need for it.
okay, so the need for it, okay,
Why it's
There's
not
a
economic
very
use.
specific roadmap for a use variance.
okay,
So maybe you can go online and see use
Right,
variance in New
okay.
York. What does that mean?
right,
There
It's
are,
quite difficult,
there
so,
are specific criteria for use variance.
okay,
and you have to meet every one of them. So what you may want to do is take a look at the criteria. You may also want to consult an attorney,
okay,
because it's a high bar.
right, okay,
What we're saying right now is that apparently we have the ability to say you can build or rebuild for a 3-family house.
right,
And what we're gonna do is we're going to send it to the planning board
okay,
and the back and the town engineer based on the fact that you can build a 3-family,
got you,
okay? If you decide at some point that you wanna try for a 4-family, you may do so, but what we're saying is that the bar is very high, your chances of getting it are very slim,
right,
okay? Just so you know that.
right, okay,
The reason why we're doing it this way, quite frankly, is just we wanted to get it past the first hurdle.
okay,
We didn't want to send you to the planning board and the rest of the boards unless we knew that we could say, yes, you can rebuild it as a three-family,
Okay,
okay? But, that being said, now we're gonna refer it out
to the plan.
to the other
Okay.
boards based on a three-family
Right.
house,
Yep, I
okay?
understand it.
Just
Adam,
so you know.
let me ask you this mechanically, though. If he only is pursuing the three-family, does he have to come back here after planning, or not?
No.
So based upon that, are we required to take a vote on what we just said, or is it just an interpretation, or what?
Well, he's
Well,
asking,
he was looking for a variance.
So I
I'm just
don't-
saying if it's a three.
if
it's
he's
just a three.
looking,
If-
we, basically, I'm gonna suggest that we leave it open in case he decides that he
I'm not
wants
saying that.
to
I'm just saying,
try.
do we have to vote on the fact that he can rebuild the three, or is it just a given?
No interpretation was ever sought technically, right? So I don't think you really have to do anything on that.
Okay,
Okay.
I don't think there's any vote
Unless the
necessary.
building department denies it somehow.
Yeah, and-
Right.
and to the
a
extent,
permit
to the
for a
extent,
three-family, then
my
you come
opinion,
back
the
to
opinion
us.
is of record, I mean,
I'm just wondering, if he decides he only wants to go with the three, does he have to come back here?
no, I don't think he does.
Only if the building department denied
Well,
it
obviously,
somehow.
yeah.
well, yeah,
That's right.
But
So
he
say
is
something.
looking for 22.
Steve, come on up.
Just a quick point, there's the front yard variance that he still requires.
Right.
That's something
Okay.
else.
So
Okay.
I was going to ask about that. So is the existing structure 22 feet? Or is that, would have been,
Porch.
That's the existing. It probably, I mean, I put that number down because I want to make the side of the house that faces 132, I want it to appear like it's the front, because I think it's more accessible to have the doors to the apartments on the left-hand side of the structure, which would be the west side. So the north side of the house facing 132, I'm gonna put certain aesthetic designs on it, so it looks like the front, because I don't want the side,
Right.
I don't want people driving by and saying, why am I looking at the side of the house? I want it to be appealing. So at that point, that's why the roof may become shorter, but the 22 feet is the most I would be looking for,
so he still needs the
but
variance.
but the existing,
is there.
so that's kind of, I don't know if that has any bearing on anything, that was never really asked for.
Right.
Or,
Because if it's the same structure that was
there.
there,
Well,
why
it was-
does it need a variance
right.
now? It didn't then.
Right.
Well, it
Unless the
did,
setbacks
or they
changed.
just
he didn't need it then because it was a non-conforming house that was built,
pre-existing,
that pre-existed zoning.
Right.
That's why that 76 decision was done. If he's going to basically rebuild it to the point where it's going to be.
2/3 new foundation
Yeah.
and
So-
probably,
So I would.
there's
say-
some
I would-
walls that are
I would
staying.
say that he needs
some
the
walls are
variance.
staying?
yeah.
Outside walls?
Exterior, outside walls,
Back
rear,
exterior.
the rear walls.
Okay, the porch is basically going to be
Beige
replaced.
portion is gone.
All right, so we'll still need the variance.
Anybody in the audience have comment on the application? You gotta step up here. Sure, sir.
Yes.
Hi.
Please state your name, please.
My name is Patricia McKenna. I've lived across the street from this house for 32 years. And I've seen the process of this house deteriorate, and it sounds great. I'd love to see the outside. Love to see the plans, but a little concerned about asbestos, because it is an older building. We live across the street.
Well, he would have to, whatever he does, he'd have to get a demolition permit from the building department, so you'd have to take a look at that anyway.
Okay, okay. Would you be living in,
You come on up, yeah. But you gotta do it from up there.
is it?
The majority of the house is gutted, so the way I
Okay.
bought it, so there's only wood in there now.
Okay.
So I don't see anything. We were in there cleaning up, just sweeping up.
What
to see
about the outside?
I have to have that tested. It could be mineral composite, not 100% sure. but
Okay.
That has to be sent out and tested.
Okay. No, you answered a
come up
lot of my
afterwards.
other questions. I was a little bit worried about that and air
Come on up.
quality and stuff like that. Is any one of your families gonna be living in on the process?
Eventually, probably, I'd be my last to be living in there. But
Okay.
Not right now, but down the road.
Okay, okay. I know you are local, so, but like I said, we live across the street, so we've seen it be a,
I've seen it too.
yeah, okay, okay.
Can I just,
All right, go ahead.
no, stay here.
No.
Fran Dahl, I live across the
I have your
property
letter here. I
also.
didn't wanna read it like, is
Huh?
this yours? No, this isn't yours. That's someone else's letter. Okay,
No.
go ahead.
You
You gotta,
say
you
it's
have to
gutted.
address us.
Okay, he says it's gutted, but there's gotta be plumbing underneath it and within it.
It was all ripped out.
All that, so the pipes are out, there's no electrical?
Sir, you gotta come up to the microphone and speak.
I'm sorry.
All the electrical, plumbing, boiler, it's just a framed house with what you see. There's nothing inside. I think there's a tub laying in the living room floor. That's it.
And you're on septic, not,
That house is septic.
can it be changed?
Eventually, if they ever run sewer lines, yes.
Well, because we have sewer lines across the street.
Yeah, but
You gotta address us.
We have sewer lines across the street, so I was a
Sewer
little
lines, the way
confused
they
about
run
the
is not
septic.
necessarily,
Okay,
I did my homework. In order to tie into your sewer system,
Yeah.
I would have to ask everybody in your, so the septic system that's there was
Okay.
rebuilt in '86.
okay.
So the Westchester County Health Department said they're reviewing it, but they see no issue with it. So,
he can't just put a septic up without approval from the Board of Health anyway, so.
Okay,
I wasn't around.
okay.
Okay.
Well, follow it as it goes, as it progresses.
It'll
Thank
be
you very
appearing
much.
next, I'm guessing, before the planning board, so.
Okay.
So they're, oh, if I may, are
Uh,
they all
By the
gonna be,
microphone.
are they all rentals?
Yes,
Okay, so they're all gonna be rentals, you're looking for long-term,
yes.
who's gonna maintain the property once it,
Me, myself and I.
so the lawn will be taken
Yes.
care of? And you'll have,
I don't know if you noticed, but I've been periodically.
I do.
The Japanese knotweed has been a terror to deal with. It grows faster
know,
than
your guys are
anything.
there all the time.
And we're in there trying to keep it weed whack, keep it presentable. I'm doing the best I can with what I have there, and it's,
no, I do
There are
notice that.
plenty of owner-occupied homes that need work on the outside,
oh, I
too.
know.
No, I understand that, and it's not like we're opposed to it, we're just more
I
like
understand.
trying,
Yeah.
you know, we know what we've
The
lived
house
through.
has somewhat of a checkered history with
Yes.
appearance, and I know it's your concern. We hope that the new owner is gonna do a little better job than the old owners did.
And
I
you,
try.
garages, entrance, parking.
Garages, in my brain detached maybe down the road or something, but right now financially, put garages up, right now I'm concentrating on the structure.
And you're thinking of moving in at some
Well,
point?
down the road,
Okay,
down the road.
well, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Are the plans online?
They're right up there, the picture.
They're right behind you.
Okay.
What about the
You can, if you want,
Dropbox?
if you wanna see them, you could always ask the building department. It's,
Okay, but these are for the four on,
The
on-
floor plan.
they're for the
Yeah,
four, not for the
So
three.
that's a bit up in the
Okay.
air at the moment.
there'll
you
probably be a
very
more detailed presentation of the plans before the planning board.
Okay. We'll be invited to that?
It'll be noticed for them.
It'll be a public hearing.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome. Anybody else? We have a letter here to the file from Marion Kapatanik. If I said it right. Did you want to, beside me reading it, do you want to come up and say something?
My name is Marian Kapitanchik. I live across the street, 1472 Iroquois Street. I moved there in 2002, and my only question is, that house was three-family house, but we're seeing at least maybe like 6-7 apartments
It was
there.
shut down by the town several years ago.
Right, but
because
it
of
was shut down in like 2007, right? So we experienced a lot of traffic there into that house, coming in and coming out, and the only question is they gonna keep the same entrance into that house in the same place?
Well, he said he's doing it on the side.
Right,
Well, I think he may be asking about the driveway, the entry point on, the driveway.
it's a lot of, there was a, well,
The
at
driveway-
that
the
time, there
driveway-
was a lot of
excuse me,
people
the
in that
driveway-
house.
The driveway issue, you're kind of constrained with the driveway because you can't do another curb cut without approval. And is 132 a town or county road?
County or state.
So you can't just put a driveway anywhere you want.
No, I'm just asking,
One
because
of the things that's gonna happen is that basically once we, and I'm going to anticipate adjourn this meeting, it's gonna wind up going to a couple of other agencies that are gonna be more involved in questions of design, parking, appearance, and all the rest of that stuff, specifically the planning board, ABACA. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna have public hearings on this as well. So you're gonna have an opportunity to get into a little bit more of the design of the building, where the driveway's gonna go, where the parking is gonna go, that type of thing. And there will be notices to probably you, if you're a property owner, to attend some of their meetings and had the ability to make comments just like you're doing here.
Right.
So at the end of the day, what we're doing here right now is kind of setting the stage for him to be allowed to continue with the process of getting an approval for a building.
All right. Oh, I just had that comment and about, because I guess at that time, where there were people living in the house, they were renting by the rooms, so there was a lot of
Yeah.
movement in that house, and whatever work they were doing on that property in 2020 or 2021, when they were gutting inside the house, there were a lot of debris and all that flying across the street, and nobody was picking that up or clean up the all the appliances. They threw it outside until I came to the building department here and complained, and then they
Well,
remove everything, so.
We turned the page
yeah.
on all that.
Just, this applicant is here before us, he put in, permit requests and applications. Most of what you're describing was probably done, totally illegally or whatever,
Right, I mean,
so.
I never met the
that's just a
owner or
It's
whoever
just a
was.
signal that it should improve, because if he gets a permit from the building department, they have to follow, put silt fences up, and there's many standards that come into
Right,
play,
right.
that don't come into
I
play when
just,
you
I
just
just
do
had
it
that,
on the
That's
road.
okay, understand. Okay,
Okay,
You're
thank
living
you.
across the street, so,
I
it's
understand.
right. All right, that's all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, then I'm gonna move that we adjourn this matter and we refer it to the planning board, engineering, and ABACA. And we'll have this on for the next meeting. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Next application is Gelbman. Anyone here on that? Application for a special use permit for a new accessory apartment at 1881 Morning View Drive. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name, please?
Carla Geldman.
Okay, and this is for a new apartment, correct?
Yes.
It's, so far, there's no apartment existing there?
Kind of has a long backstory. The apartment's been there since the house was built.
Okay,
Grandparents lived there. I lived there. Just bought the house for my mom. It was never legalized.
Okay.
So we're legalized. So approved for 4-bedroom. It's a 4-bedroom house, 3-bedroom house, 1-bedroom apartment. So the apartment's been there since 1959.
and you live in the main structure?
Now I do, yes.
And you own the main structure?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Where's the door to the accessory gonna be?
The driveway.
It's
The
that small
driveway
door
door
that's by the driveway?
with the 14 stairs that go up.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. And, you have ample parking for the accessory?
Yes, we have a 3-car garage that we park our cars in, so it would be 1 car in the driveway, and the driveway is a circular driveway that goes from Westview to Morning View.
Okay, we have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd, that they have no objections. Anybody in the audience have a comment on the application? Okay. Steve, anything else on this one? No. Okay, we did a site visit last weekend. Doesn't look like it's gonna have any major impact on the area. It's not permanent anyway, these are 3-year permits,
Yes.
so. I move that we grant the application for the special use permit for an accessory apartment at 1881 Morning View Drive for a period of 3 years. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Stevenson? This is application for an addition that will require variances for a front yard setback of 32.99 feet where 40 is required, and a side yard variance for a corner lot of 26.31 feet where 40 is required at 2801 Crescent Drive. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Frank Tancredi, architect. I'm standing in for David Tetro, architect. Unfortunately, he had a personal matter to take care of, and he asked me to, fill in for him.
Are you well-versed in the application?
As well as I can be.
Okay, so we'll take it.
We'll take it to a point where if I think we need to adjourn, I'll request that.
Throw out a flare, we'll let you know.
So, we're here tonight to ask for front yard variances. on a corner property. There are 3 additions that are gonna be put on the property. One being to the left side, if you're looking at it from the front, would be a 2-story addition with a garage and a master suite above that. The house is currently what we call a splanch, a split ranch. You come in at a level and you go up a few stairs to the second level, and then you would go up to this new addition, a few more steps. To the front of the property, we're asking for a front yard variance. That comprises of an expansion on the existing kitchen, and to the side property, which is facing the other street, it would be a proposed living room, which would also require a variance for, a side yard equal to the front yard variance.
Okay, we have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd. They have no objections. We have a letter to the file dated May 4th from Alfonso Carfano. They have no objections. Anybody in the audience have a comment on the application? Anybody on the board have any questions? Are you set with the plans that were submitted?
Yes.
Okay, we did a site visit. Anything you want to say, John?
I did, I didn't have the plans in front of me when I was looking at this house. I guess I saw that there was like a lot of room to where they're building the second story there in that picture, and that's good. Quite a bit less room to the side as far as maintaining a setback, a front yard setback. I'm actually surprised to see that it's going there.
That's also a corner lot. so-
Yeah, it's a corner.
The corner lot makes it, that's the hardship.
What's
And it's
the,
also, the location of the kitchen
It's
being
a,
the
side yard.
central part of the house, that all these new
So,
rooms and how they're gonna be allocated, pinwheel off that.
26 where 40 is required.
Okay.
All right.
I would move then that we grant the application for the variance for a front yard setback of 32.99 feet where 40 feet is required, and a side yard variance of 26.31 feet where 40 feet is required, with the usual stipulation that this pertains only to the requested variances, not the remainder of the property line, and that the additions be built in substantial conformity to the plans submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have another application?
If you're going in order, I'm the next one.
Okay.
No, we're going out of order.
We have Cicero, application for an addition to the rear of an existing non-conforming structure that requires a variance for a front yard setback of 8.3 feet where 75 is required, and a lot area of 38,369.68 square feet where 200,000 is required, 1575 Journey's End Road. Want to give us your name once again for the record?
Again, Frank Tancredi, architect for the record, and I'm here with the owner, Bridget Cicero, 1575 Journey's End Road.
You want to run us through the application?
We're here asking for variances to a non-conforming home, basically where it's situated. A 75-foot front yard setback is the requirement, and currently it's at 8.3 feet. The house was built, I believe, in 1820, and there's been a few changes to it over the years, but the house was there, so that's our, one of the hardships. Our addition is going to be completely within the rear of the property, but it entirely falls within the front yard setback because of the way it's situated.
Without the addition, the house the way it currently stands,
Yeah.
does it comply with the setbacks?
No,
Have those ever been legalized?
we're doing that, that's what we're
So this is a brand-new application
I
to
was told
legalize
that
those
we
variances.
couldn't, there was
No,
no
and-
record of that.
So the original house was built when?
I believe 1820, does that
So
make
it's
sense?
legal non-conforming.
So, and also, the lot size for that zone requires 200,000 square feet, and, we're at, the 38,000.
But again, it's legal non-conforming.
Right, it's legal non-conforming.
It was built what, we said about, how many years ago, about 200?
Yeah, I don't know when it was, it was subdivide it up.
Because one of the things we have to look at is, does it change the character of the neighborhood? And something that's been there for 200 years, you'd have to say pretty much is the character of the neighborhood.
Yeah, this is on the back of the house, so it's not gonna change really anything. There is an addition off the back. If you scroll to the first page, that one, you can barely see like a little dotted line within that foundation line. That's an existing addition, a one-story addition that's off the back of the house. Comprises of a mud room and a little powder room. Bridget uses it as her, her office, point of entry. The house has a very small kitchen, and what we're planning to do is, move the kitchen into the addition, create a better mudroom area to come into, and a little office for herself, with a screen porch off the back as well, being that everyone's outside these days, as we all know. And we're going to expand, the bedroom over the addition as well, but we're not proposing to increase bedrooms. It's a two-bedroom house, and it's going to remain a two-bedroom house. And that's the charm of it. Materials would all be consistent with what's there. Cedar shakes. They're actually some are painted, some are stained. It's going to be entirely uniform when we're done with it.
We have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd. They have no objection.
Right.
Anybody in the audience have a comment on the application? Anybody on the board?
So this is one of those deals where your building is actually in the rear yard because the house is already there. Right, so this gets a little confusing, but I guess they're only asking for a variance for the existing 8.3 feet, but you could argue you don't need one because
You could.
so
I guess we're here to get it on the books.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
But just so you know, even though the addition is in the front yard setback, that doesn't really apply anymore because it's actually in the rear yard now. So you only have to care about a rear yard setback, right?
No,
No. Doesn't matter.
keep going.
Okay. I would move then that we approve the application for an addition to a rear yard of an existing non-conforming structure that requires a variance of front yard setback of 8.3 feet, where 75 is required, and lot area of 38,369.68 square feet, where 200,000 is required, at 1575 Journey's End Road, with the usual stipulation that this pertains only to the requested variance, not the remainder of the property line, and that the addition be built in substantial conformity with the plans submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And have a good night. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Palmiato?
Hello, how are you?
Hi. Want to give us your name, please?
Mark Palmiato.
Okay, this is an application to allow construction of a second-story addition that will require variances for a front yard setback of 17 feet 9 inches where 30 feet is required, and a side yard variance of 7 feet 9 inches where 12 feet is required, a total of 2 side yards of 19 feet 6 inches where 24 feet is required, and a non-conforming lot of 7580 square feet where 20,000 is required at 3213 Mohegan Avenue. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Okay, so what is it you're looking to build?
So 3 months ago we had a fire in the house. So now I was thinking it's a good time to. I have a family of 4 kids. It's probably the time to get a little bit bigger. We were just looking to put the second floor on the existing frame of the house now, build it straight up.
So the house itself already meets the rest of the setbacks as required, or it's
So on the front left and the back right are a little bit out of the building structure.
but you're not changing that.
No, we're building straight up.
So was that ever approved in the past, Steve?
I believe it's all legal, non-conformative.
So it's also non-conforming?
Yeah.
Never legalized in the past, okay.
Well, it doesn't need to be sometimes.
We have a memo from the building department dated May 22nd. They found an above-ground pool with no permits and a shed with no permits, both encroaching on the side yard setback requirements for accessory structures. This says you're gonna remove those?
Yes.
Also, a 6-foot 6-inch fence was installed on the sides. It also requires a variance. Fence is too high.
Okay, well, the fence was there when I bought the house, so I'll do whatever we need to do to make it work.
Does the fence go along?
It goes the whole yard, from the
Is it-
front sides, which
front
they
side?
are 4.5, and then it grades up, I guess, earlier than it's supposed to before it gets to the back.
So in other words, the fence is 4.5 up until the front portion of the house?
Yes,
And then from there, it's 6.5?
yes.
Okay. All right, so it's essentially 6.5 feet in the side yard. When I say side yard, I mean on the side of the house, it's 6 feet.
Right.
Okay, 6.5. Side yard.
What are you planning on doing about the fence?
Want to leave it?
I would like to leave it if I can.
Okay.
It's been there for quite a while. I have also a letter, if this helps, from one of my neighbors approving,
The Caffreys?
not the McCaffreys, oh, is it?
There's a letter from the Caffreys here,
Linda?
dated May 16th, that they're in support of the application.
Yes. Oh, she mailed it to you too?
Yes.
She left it in my mailbox for me.
Anybody in the audience have a comment? Okay. Goes that memo.
So just looking at the picture, one of the pictures, is this the shed, this two-story thing in the back?
No, so the shed, I don't know if there's a picture of it. The
Well, it's in
way,
that
if you look
picture.
at the floor plan, over by where the kitchen is, it steps, see right there in the bottom left picture, how the bottom right steps out. It's actually part of on the top, right, up a little bit more, to the right, all the way, yeah, right there. So right to the right of that is where the shed is. There's land, it's kind of like a cove that's wasted space right
What are you
there.
planning to do with the shed?
Well, now we're gonna have a garage, so I could take the shed down.
Okay.
We didn't have a garage on the house at all, so it's a little tough.
There's a two-story building in this picture with looks like a slide coming out of it. Is
Oh, that was the playhouse in the backyard.
Small?
Yeah.
It looks big. Look at,
I don't fit in it.
it looks so
It's
big
little
in the
kids'
picture,
heights.
doesn't it? I'm sorry. You have to
Like
look
I said, I
at
got a
the
lot of little kids.
I gotta show you this.
Oh, it does look big.
Okay, then what I'll do is I move that we grant the application to allow construction of a second-story addition that will require variances for a front yard setback of 17 feet 9 inches where 30 feet is required, side yard variance of 7 feet 9 inches where 12 feet is required, total of 2 side yards of 19 feet 6 inches where 24 is required, and a non-conforming lot of 7580 square feet where 20,000 is required, with the condition that the existing pool and shed be removed. We'll add into the variance the 6 foot 6 inch existing fence in the side yards, and that the addition be built in substantial conformity to the plans submitted, and that this pertains only to the requested variance, not the remainder of the property line. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So it means shed no, pool no, fence yes.
No problem. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Yorktown 6N Holdings. Good evening.
Good evening.
Want to give us your name, please?
Hello, Will Angelillo from Han Engineering on behalf of the owners of this property.
Okay, this is application to construct 4 two-story, 3-bedroom townhouses on 0.52 acres that would require the following variances. Floor ratio of 0.27 where 0.23 is required. Front yard setback of 25 feet where 50 is required. Side yard setback of 23 feet 11 inches where 50 is required. Rear yard setback of 25 feet where 50 is required. Building separation of 72 feet 1 inch where 90 is required. And lot depth of 116.4 feet where 150 is required in an R3 zone at 670 East Main Street. Go ahead.
All right. Want to scroll down to the site plan? That'd be great. Right now, there's a single-family residence here on the property.
How old is that residence, do you know?
We don't have any idea. It's been there for quite a while, and it's not in the best of shape.
No, we've been there, we've seen it.
Okay. It's been there
Is
for a
it
while.
fair to say that the existing house is not in, is pretty much in a state of disrepair?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The applicant here is proposing to construct four townhouses. We've been to the planning board, discussed this project with them. We initially started with 5 units. They've asked us to reduce it. So we brought it down to 4. We've got a 12-space parking lot on here. We've positioned the parking lot such that we protect as many trees on the property as we can possibly do. What else is of interest? The triangle in the center of the plan there, I don't know if you can kind of see it, that's the building envelope. Just about anything that you'd build on this property would need some sort of variance because of the non-conforming lot shape of it. So we've positioned the building such that we can get the most amount of the building into that envelope while keeping the parking where it wants to be to line up with the existing roadways, meet the necessary grades. So that's sort of how we landed at this layout. And it kind of mimics the property to the east in terms of layout and style.
Let me go through, we have 2 memos here. It looks like they're both from the planning board, but they're signed by 2 different people, so I'll read one. One's dated April 25th, signed by Robin Steinberg. Planning board is currently reviewing a residential site plan application for the subject property located on .52 acres in R3 zone. The size and shape of the parcel will create a very small building envelope, thereby any new development would require multiple variances. In addition, a location facing commercial development at the intersection of East Main Street and Lee Boulevard make the site undesirable for a single-family or 2-family home. As a result, the zone was changed from R2 to R3 in 2011 after adoption of the comprehensive plan. The applicant initially proposed a 5-unit building. However, the board determined that a 4-unit building would better suit the small parcel because it would allow for more space around the buildings and parking. The proposed development also provides for the preserving of several specimen trees on the site and several trees that currently screen the Surrey Court development from the intersection. The board therefore recommends the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the variances required for the 4-unit development proposed. Then we have a memo from John Tegeter, dated May 18th. The memo responds to the Zoning Board's referral regarding the subject project. We attached our earlier memo dated April 25th, which details the premise upon which the Planning Board has determined the proposed site plan and layout to be the most appropriate for the property, its location, and its use. As cited in that memo, the property was rezoned to multifamily due to its location on East Main Street, a heavily traveled commuter thoroughfare and classified as an arterial road or highway. It's also located adjacent to high-use commercial properties and therefore is situated such that it acts as a transition from commercial uses to less intense, low-density residential uses. The original improvement of a single-family residential structure on the property was that of Jefferson Valley and Shrub Oak. This was prior to the development of the adjacent commercial area, the mall, the relocation of Route 6, and the creation of the Taconic Parkway. This evolution has rendered the property unsuitable for single-family residence, as the quiet, less intense environment associated and expected from single-family neighborhoods no longer exists. This was at the heart of the town board decision to rezone the property in 2011. The physical attributes of the property are constraining, as its small, roughly half-acre parcel, trapezoidal in shape, and has street frontage front and back. The board situated the proposed building primarily facing west with the side elevations of the building facing the street frontages. This is similar to its existing neighbor Surrey Court, and the board felt it lessens the sense of mass from East Main Street and the Lee Boulevard approach while providing some protection to the future inhabitants from the negative impacts of the commercial area and traffic patterns across the front of the proposed building. Therefore, this led the board to feel that the setback encroachments necessitated by the preferred layout, while approximately 50% of the requirements are warranted and they are not incompatible with its commercial urbanized environs. It was also commonly held that the size and configuration alone were prime reasons that one or more variances would be necessary to improve the property. Pursuant to the foregoing and additional information contained in the earlier memo referenced above, the Planning Board recommends the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the variances required for the 4-unit development proposed. This memo was generated by the Planning Department and reflects its knowledge of the Planning Board review. The board may supplement with additional comments after its meeting on Monday, which I assume was Monday of this week.
Yes, and they didn't have any additional comments.
And then we have a memo from the Building Department dated May 22nd. They have no objections. Okay, so from what they're saying, on one side you have Route 6N,
Yeah, on one side you have East Main Street.
and and on the other side, as you're
Yeah.
facing the house, you have the other apartment complex.
So if you're on East Main Street and you're looking towards into the property, yes, to the right would be the Surrey Court.
So where is the closest other single-family dwelling to this one?
There is a residence on the left side of this building. There's another parcel, triangular in shape.
Between this building and the apartments?
No, on the other side.
The other side.
The other side, if you're looking at this plan,
Right.
to the left. When you're looking at this plan to the left, there's a
Okay.
triangular shaped lot with another residence squeezed onto it.
And is this going to be properly screened from that residence?
Yes, you have this nice large green area on the left side of the plan there. So it will be the building, then you have the parking lot, then you'll have this green space. And we can add additional trees if necessary to screen it. There is existing hedges.
Are we your last stop in the process, or we have to go back to planning?
We'll have to go back to planning for a public hearing.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have a comment? Anybody on the board have a comment? We went out there this past Saturday. I mean, given its location right next to another group of apartments, I personally don't think the creation of these apartments over there is going to create any major impact on the area. It's probably going to improve the way that area looked, given the current state of repair or disrepair of the current house, which I assume is not occupied.
I don't know.
I'd be surprised if it was by anything other than 4-legged animals. But you never know. I don't want to disparage. Well, they'd be living there by themselves. Anybody on the board?
No.
Okay, I would move then that we grant the application to construct 4 2-story, 3-bedroom townhouses on 0.52 acres that will require the following variances: floor area ratio of 0.27, where 0.23 is required, front yard setback of 25 feet where 50 is required, side yard setback of 23 feet 11 inches where 50 is required, rear yard setback of 25 feet where 50 is required, building separation of 72 feet 1 inch where 90 is required, lot depth of 116.4 feet where 150 is required in the R3 zone at 670 East Main Street. Usual stipulation pertains only to requested variance, not the property line, and it be built in substantial conformity with plans submitted, and any other suggestions made by the planning board. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Got a couple people left. What's left? There's people here, so it must be another application. I'm looking for it on here.
No, I just thought we should say hi.
Oh.
And we're for Alethea Henderson, Alethea Henderson.
You can come up here and say hello to the microphone.
Yeah, okay.
Come on up. Oh, okay. You're the second people we called.
That's right. I've not done a lot, I've done a lot of zoning hearings, but not in town of Yorktown. Gerald is handling this one. Gerald.
Yeah, we just set it down for a site visit on the 17th and referred to the building department.
What time is that?
The site visit?
All day, or it's like loose?
No, you don't have to be there. You can be if you want, but it'll probably be somewhere around 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that. But, you know, usually if we're doing site visits, you don't have, you know, if you mark off where the variances are going, we can just see it. You're free to be there if you want, but you don't have to be.
You had a chance to look at the plans, any questions?
We haven't looked at anything till the hearing's open.
It's
Okay,
next,
all right.
next time.
So,
Okay.
See you next week, or
Alrighty.
next month.
Next month.
Next
Take
month.
care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that being the last application, if there's no further business, I move that we adjourn to next month. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good evening and happy zoning.
Happy zoning.